Hi, I'm Bob. I've been blind since birth, and I'm into Star Wars action figures and vehicles from Hasbro or Kenner because they help me visualize what's on screen. If you like what you see in the video, share, like, subscribe, notification button, all that YouTube stuff. So in our TIE Bomber review, I mentioned we were going to be looking at Darth Vader's TIE Advanced X1. So for any of you former 90s kids out there or grown-up Star Wars fans from the 90s, you'll probably remember this ship. This has been released and re-released so many times now, I have lost count. And it is the exact same mold every single time. That's okay, though. I think it gets the job done. It represents Vader's tie. And this was given to me by my cousin Kirk in 2010. I did own this exact same version when I was a kid. I believe I got it for some birthday or another. I do have an unopened version. It's in my Death Star Trench Run battle pack. They just kept releasing and re-releasing this thing time and time and time again. So that's pretty cool. And here is the bottom of Vader's ship. He's got these two teeny tiny little laser cannons there on the bottom of his ship. I think we saw him firing these off in the movie. Turn this around so you can see the back here. And let's turn this around. Here's the front. You can see the solar panels look exactly like the solar panels on the TIE Bomber. They've got that rectangular look to them. And Vader's TIE Fighter, you know, it's got the two conventional laser cannons on the bottom, like all TIE Fighters have. But the toy, you know, you got to have something to woo the kiddos. So here we have some extendable double laser cannons, you know, on either side. So he has 6 guns on his TIE Advance. That would have been cool if we'd actually seen these pop out in the movie. Now, I know this was specifically designed for the toy. You know, you got to have something to attract the kids and be like, hey, Mom, I want this. It's got additional guns. Yay, guns. So let me set this aside for just a sec. And I'm going to show you one of the cluster missiles this thing comes with. I'm going to call them cluster missiles because that's what the Wikipedia articles and the card games call them. So yeah, these little bad boys are canon. Vader actually had missiles he could have fired off in the Battle of Yavin if he'd wanted to. But you know, Vader's such a tough guy. He probably didn't think he needed to use missiles. He just fired those little laser cannons on the bottom of his TIE Fighter, and you know. So and his TIE Fighter has shields. It's got a hyperdrive. I mean, Palpatine spared no expense. Well, I don't know if Palpatine would have liked the fact that the toy representation has these, you know, these old these air holes on the top of the hatch there. But Vader would be just fine. He's got that breath mask on, so I mean, he'd be able to breathe. This thing opens here, and the cockpit opens rather. For those of you who aren't able to see, I thought I'd be a bit more descriptive there. So yeah, the cockpit does open, and we see a picture of a control panel there on the dashboard, but there are also a few little gear shifter sticks in there. So the interior of the cockpit has been updated a little bit, and the seat is larger because this TIE Advanced X1 was probably designed for Power of the Force 2 1995 Beefcake Darth Vader, which is one of my favorite versions of Vader. So, you know, you got to have a big cockpit for a big Sith Lord. So yeah, that cockpit looks rather roomy, and rightly so. You got to keep Darth Vader happy, or whatever his definition of happy is. I guess it's more angry. So yeah, that's about it for Vader's TIE Advanced X1. It's one of my favorite vehicles. I will say I did like that those cluster missiles were included. I wish Hasbro would include missiles with all of the vehicles that are supposed to include missiles, proton torpedoes, concussion grenades. Maybe not in spring-loaded fashion anymore. I wish they'd go the way of the G.I. Joe ships, or G.I. Joe ships. I'm thinking of Star Wars, of course. The G.I. Joe vehicles, ground land vehicles from the 80s. You know, they had those detachable missiles that you could just, place on and take off of the vehicles whenever you wanted to use them or whatever, just so you could display missile attachments. Yeah, that would be cool if we get some of those for our Star Wars vehicles, since we're probably deviating from the spring-loaded action features now. That'd be cool if we had those. So yeah, that'll do for Vader's TIE Advanced X1. And next time I've got another fighter to show that Vader piloted, and this one is from Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader by James Luceno. It was a Star Wars Legends novel, so be here when we take a look at a starfighter from Star Wars Legends next time. See you later. May the dark side of the Force be with you, and have a great day, guys.